I pledge allegiance to
to
the
the
flag
flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Thank you for all of you who are here this evening. I'll sit down, but I feel so anyway, next item is consider change in additions to the agenda. Hearing none, entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as
So moved.
second. Moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, on to hearings of individuals and groups. Thank you, Matt. All right, and before we hear from you, I would like to read our board statement again. And we're probably going to get tired of hearing it. We are here to provide each student with the best education possible to ensure a successful future. Our purpose is to support students, staff, and parents with tools and programs they need to do. We strive to be sure school is a safe place where kindness, respect, our dignity, and thought for students and staff feel safe. We are not here for a cause, but to unite rather than fight, to work together. We don't have an agenda aside from our mission, vision, and values. We will respectfully hear your comments and do our part to provide each student with what they need to achieve their goals in school and beyond. So before we start, please, when you stand up and talk, if you address the board rather than address the audience. And we will time. The time is 3 minutes. We have several people who want to speak tonight. I want to hear from each one of them. We will start with Mike Muller.
Right here.
You stand right there. Fine.
Yeah, I'm a history teacher, so I'll agree.
I know. You're
So,
working the whole room.
Yeah, I am. So I still might do that. So pardon me. Yeah. So I just before we start the timer, I'm working on it. My last go around with my wife was like 5 minutes, so I will try to cut things up. At the same time, I don't want to rush through some of this stuff. So give me a little leeway at the end. I'm not sure. I haven't been to school board meeting in a long time, so I don't know if they just pull you off the stage or something. But anyway, so okay, I'm ready. Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Mike Moeller, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of the teachers to give you a little status check on where we are as a staff heading into this year. In case you don't know me, I've been teaching Eatonville High School for 25 years. I teach U.S. history, American government, CWP, AP psychology, have coached football and baseball, serve as ASB advisor, knowledgeable advisor, senior class advisor, graduation coordinator, and drama director, just to name a few of the hats that I've worn over the years. If that list makes you feel impressed, don't be, because it's not unique or special to me, because it's kind of what we all do. We are so lucky to have the staff that we do, involved in so much more than just teaching 7 to 3 every day. The majority of our extracurricular coaches and instructors and advisors and the people that are directly involved with our students are here, our teachers. In addition to all those official roles that our teachers have, we also serve as counselors, chaperones, psychologists, mentors, and yes, parents of many of our students. Again, I don't bring this all up for any sympathy or accolades. I just want to be clear that you really see us for what we do. For many years, I helped out at Eatonville Baptist VBS Church here in town. Maybe you have been involved in camps like that. It ran 8 to 3 daily for a week, and at the end of the week, all the volunteers and adults who helped would fall back on a chair and look at each other, totally exhausted from wrangling 100 elementary school kids for 5 days. Yes, a bit physically exhausted, but more so mentally drained from the week that was. I always smile and say, yeah, welcome to our world. And for a brief moment, they kind of get it. They kind of get what we go through every week. Let's make no mistake, the past 3 years have been absolutely brutal on kids as well as parents. Learning online was horrific as kids needed socialization. They need to be in the classroom. The learning with masks on was sad in so many ways. but we did it. We were on the front lines of this pandemic. And as much people outside our rooms would pontificate on its long-lasting effects and impact, we were there firsthand through it all. After all this, teachers are leaving the profession in droves. It is a national crisis. I can't tell you, it does not surprise me at all. Not only are teachers carrying the emotional weight of all these students every day and taking it home, but are being barraged by online criticism, disrespect, bullying, and sometimes direct personal hate-filled attacks. Your teachers were and are at a breaking point. I want to make that clear. I've seen it. I've seen it in my colleagues. I've helped people along the way in the last couple of years. I need to make sure you understand that. The mental health of our staff in the community should be a major concern. Again, we are so lucky in this community to have teachers like the ones we do. And notice I said we, because I hear so many times these days, especially online and on Facebook, post narratives, false narratives of the parents and community is somehow separate from the teachers. We are the parents. If you look around this room, we have lived in this community. We are taxpayers. We are constituents. I have kids that go to this school alongside all of your kids. We've raised our kids in the school district. We frequent the local businesses. We've done this in the community, so many of us, for many years. So we are part of that. There isn't a divide between community, parents, and teachers. And it's something that we need to repair. The biggest crisis we have with our kids today is mental health. We're there. I mean, again, online, there's all these other things, all these other issues that are facing education today. I'm telling you, here in Eatonville, a lot of that national things that are going on aren't going on here. The issues we are having with kids are mental health ones. We have children who have fallen behind 2 years and are not just academically, but socially and emotionally. Last year at the high school, we have seen the most vandalism in our school that I've ever seen in my teaching years here. The most drug use in our school that I've seen in all my years here. The most disrespect directed at teachers, the most anxiety and depression. We've had people even encourage children to defy their teachers, and we deal with that on a daily basis. And through it all, the staff has continued to love and care for all our kids and are still here. In order for us to deal with these problems that exist, you need to make sure your teachers are taken care of. Mentally, feel appreciated, feel validated and wanted. To this end, when we talk about our contract, it just needs to be done as soon as possible. We are looking forward to getting back to normal and go back on time, full time, and to start the school year off on time. To push our contract off and to play any type of political games at this point, which might put the start of the school year in jeopardy, is tragic and would forever damage not only our students, but our relationship our teachers have with this community. This is Eatonville. We have so many positive things, but our shared experience over these past 3 years are unlike any other community. No outside lawyers, people outside this town or advisors can give you advice on how to deal with our current staff and where we are at emotionally and currently. This is not 4 years ago. This is not 4 years in the future. This is now. And I'm telling you, any move, but they give the staff here what they fairly deserve will cause irreparable damage to this district long term. It is not that you or anyone, it's not what you or anyone think teachers should get paid or deserve. It's not what they get paid in Alabama or New York or OMAC. You need to just look at 5 school districts when you're going through considering our contract. 5 districts on the ground. Tacoma, Peninsula, 5 Puyallup, and Bethel. That is it. Look no further. These are the districts where we lose teachers to, or where we draw teachers from. We must be competitive with these districts if we want any chance of keeping and hiring the best teachers in the area. The fact that I spoke today should be evidence how dire many of these teachers feel. As this is the only second time that I've spoken before the board and on all of my years, and I've spent my career doing my best to be unconfrontational, unopinionated, and respectful of all opposing views. Thank you for your time that you've given me today. I hope it was valuable, and please make sure you take care of the teachers that are here before you today as soon as you can, so we can get to starting in this community to start to heal as a community and get on with our #1 focus, which is caring for and positively impacting our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Anissa?
I'm already relying on Trent, so here we go. First, I want to say thank you to the school board for your service on behalf of our community. My name is Anissa Parks. I'm the school social worker at the middle school, and I'm going on my 10th year in the district and at the middle school. And my message is going to be actually really similar to Mike's, and I think that that just kind of speaks volumes to the unity within our staff, because I am in a different role and have a very different lens than what Mike does. I'm going to read off my notes. As a mental health professional, I have a unique lens in which to observe my teacher colleagues. The past 3 years have revealed without a doubt how tirelessly our educators work, how integral the classroom is to our community, and how extremely valuable our teachers are to our students. Eatonville is a strong community, but not one that has been immune to the challenges of these past 3 years. As a mom myself, I cannot express how much the professionalism, the care, the patience, the preparation that my daughter's teachers have helped me through one of the toughest times as a parent. We all know that students thrive when they feel valued, and our staff are no different. Strong and competitive contracts are a way to show that we value education, our teachers, and our communities. While I primarily support the mental health of our students, it is often that I talk with staff about their struggles too. I cannot tell you that a day goes by that I don't have a staff member in my office hearing from them about what they're struggling with personally, professionally, in their classroom, outside of their classroom, and that has only been amplified in the last 3 years. The weight that has been put on their shoulders throughout the pandemic cannot be discounted. And yet when they ask for fair wages and competitive contracts, they have to justify and fight and prove their worth again. To begin another school year, one that could be, and I think we're also hopeful, without the pressures of the last 3 years. We can just get back to the business of doing what we know that we do, is now clouded with having to justify and fight and validate what it is that we do and what that they've done for the past 3 years that has gone above and beyond. We all, school and community together, deserve a fresh start this year. We deserve a school year that can focus back on learning and growth and repair. It's time that we ratify a contract so that we can get back to working for our students. Thank you.
Addison Rogers?
Hello, I'm Madison Rogers. I'm a teacher at Eatonville Middle School. And I actually have a statement that I would like to read written by Emily McLennan, also a fellow teacher at Eatonville Middle School. I'll try not to take up too much of your time. Here's her statement. I'm so saddened that I couldn't be here in person tonight and that there was a need for me to be here tonight at all. Unfortunately, the school board's cooperation has been unproductive to say the least. Our values of a strong educational system and experienced, knowledgeable teachers seem to be echoed by the board in their biographies on the Meet the School Board website. However, only 2 mention purposes as to why they wanted to be on the school board and the goals they associate with their position. Thank you, Matt and Rhonda, for your commitment to bettering our schools. The direct quotes from your bios are as follows. Matt Marshall stated exactly, the quality of our schools directly affects not only the future of our children, but also the future of our community. And Rhonda Litzenberger's bio states that Rhonda's passion for education keeps her motivated in her board position, and she is happy to be serving in an innovative school district. She believes strong schools equals strong community. I hope the rest of the board aligns with these values. However, it has always been a firmly held belief of mine that actions speak louder than words. The actions that the union has seen include delaying the bargaining talks from when the union requested around spring break in early April until late July, nearly a fourth of a calendar year. The school board has refused to collaborate, stating repeatedly that they respectfully decline when teachers have proposed ideas to continue making student learning experiences stronger. A couple examples are making the district more attractive to substitutes and allowing teachers to continue to take personal leave and sick days as they see fit, like all adults do. Attracting substitutes means that teachers can have time to create well-rounded and engaging lessons while they are being paid, instead of covering for teachers who might need to take a day off rather than either going home and burning out or showing up and winging it. They have also proposed items that would make it harder for teachers to take personal and sick days. Teachers are in fact human, and those days make it so that we are able to face the challenges that are often presented in our position with a level head. It may surprise you to learn that students are better able to learn from calm teachers who are supported and have their needs met so they can better support the needs of their students. I hope these items speak volumes to you, but we haven't even touched on the major issue of teacher pay. In the 21 to 22 school year, the Eatonville School District paid their teachers close to $10,000 less than surrounding districts. This bargaining cycle, the state has given school districts money specifically for a 5.5% cost of living increase, as we have all witnessed, gas prices soar and inflation affect the meals we share as families. And while school districts like the Tacoma School District are bargaining for 9% raises and Clover Park 7% raises, Olympia School District has already given their employees an 18% increase over the next 3 years. The 5.5% increase was the board's starting point. Eatonville School District has dug in their heels about giving any additional money, ignoring the already prevalent wage gap between them and other districts. If you truly value the education of students, you would value the teachers that are educating them. I've heard statements from teachers in the past year about Eatonville being a stepping stone for new teachers who never stick around. We've seen it in the turnover experienced in several positions here. It intuitively makes sense.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you. You've got just a few seconds.
Okay, I just have about one paragraph. We have seen it in the turnover experience in several positions. It intuitively makes sense that someone who is educated specifically for a position and has done that position for longer is a stronger performer. So why is it that the school board is trying to run newer teachers out once they have a year or two under their belt who haven't yet established roots in the community by paying them significantly less than surrounding districts? Why aren't they valuing the great depths of experience that educators who have been loyal to Eatonville for several years by paying them what they deserve? Why is it that the school board's actions say that our students' education is not important, that they don't care about the quality of Eatonville's educators? Thank you.
All right, don't start the clock yet. First of all, like I always like to do, we have to clap and say thank you to the school board. And really, to everybody. I mean, the superintendent, everybody deserves it. And then I got to say, first of all, I know all the board members care about the students, not just Matt and Rhonda. I don't know for sure what that was about. I might have misinterpreted this. I know you guys all care. I've talked to all you guys. And, the community, we all know you care. So you wouldn't be here if you didn't. And then Mike, thank you for your words. You brought up a really great point that I'd like to say something really quick about. I've been saying it for a while, and I feel like, and Gary and I have talked about it even privately, I feel like it's kind of his job, the principals maybe a little bit, job to make the teachers and the parents not feel like they're against each other, get everybody on the same team. You said there's a divide there because, you know, maybe the parents feel like, you know, they're the boss and the teachers are just the employee. And I think that could be repaired if, you know, parents weren't feeling like teachers were overstepping their boundaries a little bit here and there. Just by communicating with them, Gary, you know, what the district's expectations are. We don't know. It'd be great if we could see something put out so we could see what those, you know, expectations are. You know, I've seen, I don't mean to single you out, Gary, but in your emails, I see a deal at the end, you know, that says, you know, seek to understand and then seek to be understood. It was a quote that you like, and I think it's great. We want to understand you now. You've been here for a while to learn to understand us. We want to see what Gary thinks, and the community needs that. And hopefully you're able to see what we need and fill that void. So hopefully I didn't just waste all my time. I'm going to go over some of the survey stuff that I try and do every month. I didn't get as much participation this month as I have sometimes. I had about 40 people message me back. And people were all over the place with their concerns. A lot of the concerns are about curriculum. One of the main ones is no political signaling from teachers. People don't want equity teachings. I get a lot of stuff about CRT and all the different names associated with that, but we see through it. We know what all that is. We don't want this equity thing in our schools in Eatonville. We don't want lower test standards. We want these kids to all be pushed to their max, regardless of whether they're struggling or they're an honor student. Push every single one of them to their max. People are talking about the new math curriculum. There's just tons and tons of different ones. I didn't get any main 3 this time. People want to figure out how to get more parent involvement now that we've moved past this whole COVID thing. Parents want to be back in the schools, and some of them don't know where to start. I think the website and the district's interaction with parents really needs improvement. We've talked about that 1,000 times. Parent permission, just parent involvement, parent awareness, everything. What, 1 minute? Time?
10 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I just want to say thank you to everybody, to the board again, and let's just make Eatonville great again.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
Sammy, go.
Paulette, do you need me to, do you want us to say we are? I'm sorry.
Huh?
I was not a good listener. Do you want us to say who we are?
Yes, I would.
Okay. I'm Sammy Jo 30acre and I live in Eatonville. Good evening, school board directors. I'd like to reinitiate discussion about the creation and the adoption of a resolution that states that parents and or legal guardians are the primary stakeholder in their child's upbringing and education in our Eatonville school district. I initially brought this forward in January of 2022, and I've readdressed it in February and in April. And in May, I met with Jeff Lucas, and he said that he would put it on the agenda for your discussion, and then regretfully he resigned. So I'm respectfully requesting again for the adoption of one such resolution. I will send you another copy. I will make it updated because now we are 8 months down the road. But it's much the same as the one that was approved in Tonasket on the 27th of October in 2021. So I'll hit that in your email next week if you don't mind, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right. So you appreciate them. Move forward now to presentation. Financial report. What's that?
Only one tonight. So I provided you with our current budget status report and the financials for the month of July. We post in arrears. So we're right on track to be under budget. I have submitted the new budget that you approved at the last meeting, and it is currently under review at ESD. So that's where we're at on that. And then we are watching. I don't have an enrollment report, obviously, this month because we don't report for the month of August. But we are watching the enrollment counts and where the students are registering at the elementary schools, so that we can be prepared to add staff if we need to. Some of the numbers are reaching those thresholds, so we're keeping a close eye on that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. There's no unfinished business, so we'll go on to new business.
Yeah, so I'd just like to make a motion that we consider A, B, and C as one.
Great. All right, and we have someone here to speak to the safety training. Gavin.
My name is Gavin Kralik. I'm the athletic director at the high school. I want to thank you all for your service to the community and the kids. So tackling instruction and how you teach tackling in the sport of football is like the #1 thing that prevents and reduces the risk of concussions for kids. And the WIAA has reinstituted a hands-on tackling training that each high school, middle school paid and volunteer coach has to go through. Recently, this past a week ago, I was at a state athletic directors training, and they have different ways you can meet that requirement. So the most prominent one that people take advantage of is the WIA puts on, they train high school coaches to then put on clinics, and coaches go up and learn kind of what they call heads up tackling. It's a form of tackling education. And so another option that you can do is you can have a district approved tackling curriculum training that includes hands-on tackling training of all the coaches. And so what I'm wanting to do and I'm hoping to do is get your approval to have Rex Norris, who is one of our new coaches and will be taking over for me as head coach a year from now, do the tackling training for all of our high school and middle school coaches, paid and volunteer, to meet that requirement. Did you already pass the paperwork? Okay, so Coach, just to give you a quick background, Coach Norris, that's his number one area that he's like beyond has the credentials to do. So he was a head of football for a company called Atavus. Atavus is a program that multiple states have adopted. So the state of Texas, he went with Atavus to train every single, as a requirement for their entire state to go through the Atavus training program for every single paid and volunteer coach, football coach in the state of Texas. So he went down to Texas and trained, went place to place, trained every single coach in the state of Texas. And then also, it wasn't mandated, but it was recommended in the states of Georgia, Indiana, and 4 other states. And so he was the point person for that. Additionally, as it's a rugby-based tackling system, so basically it's a way of teaching tackling way different than I was taught a long time ago when I was playing or in college. And it is the safest method by far. The Seahawks helped fund Atavus to get going. He's been hired by 15 major universities, including the University of Washington, to come in and instruct their coaches about how to teach tackling, how to change drills when you recognize deficiencies among the players, how you assess tackling, and all that. And so additionally, he's worked with 5 NFL teams to do the same thing. And so to me, it makes perfect sense. We have somebody far better. I've been to the trainings of the WIAA. It's a different philosophy. This is by far the safest curriculum, and he's an expert in it. And so I think it makes the most sense for all of our coaches within our school district to be speaking the same language and instructing the same way. And we're fortunate to have somebody like that could do this at a much higher level than the other options. So I'm seeking board approval, which is a WIAA requirement, so we could move forward with him instructing us. There's a bunch of questions and answers there. He's the second guy in the one right here. He's the second guy in from the right here, in from the right. This is what we send out to the UIL, which is the WIAA in Texas. And then lastly, there's like 40 slides from the classroom part of the presentation, just so you could see kind of the basis of that. And then obviously it meets the requirements for the field instruction and whatnot. So any questions you all have for me?
I think we covered very well.
Okay, thank you all so much for fitting us in. I wish I wouldn't. They've changed it since COVID. Now you can do hands-on again, and so everybody's scrambling, and we want to do things the right way. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve A, B, and C on our business. Moved and seconded. Rhonda, can you hear us? Okay. Want to be sure.
Thank you.
Been moved and seconded to approve A, B, and C, which is the contract, coaches contract, and then the safety training program. So any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, we'll move on to item D, the milk bid from Dairy Fresh Farms for the 22-23 school year.
Maybe we can make the motion to discuss it. So I'll make the motion.
Second,
That's like,
okay, discussion?
Okay. Can we just hear a little bit about the bid?
Yeah, so the process that we go through, so we're required to go out to bid for anything over a certain threshold, depending on its federal, state funds. So we go out to bid for this, sometimes once a year, sometimes every 3 years, depending on what the vendor is willing to do. And Dairy Fresh Farms, we solicit, we put in the newspaper, we ask them, Smith Brothers, Meadow Sweet, there was another company. Sometimes they reply and sometimes they don't, but we have found with Dairy Fresh that they run about 8 to 10 cents cheaper than the other companies who are willing to come out here. So that's where we ended up with Dairy Fresh Farm.
Do we have right now?
Dairy Fresh. Yeah, they're not too far from here, so that probably explains the pricing difference. I'm sure is a lot of it.
Any good discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to the fuel bid. World Connect.
I think these are
There's,
together.
yeah, E and F. We'll take E and F together. One's fuel and one's propane. From World Connect and Federal Gas, and I think they're somehow connected. I'm not sure. There's been some name changes, but we only have the one bid, right?
So I'll make the motion. We'll discuss it.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve discussion.
Yeah, so since we were only able to get one bid, I just wanted like on the record, the reason for that is we don't have any other suppliers who will meet the requirements for fuel. But kind of how this works. We only have one company that will deliver it here.
So we have one company that's located here in Eatonville, so it's pretty hard for the other companies to compete with them.
This is, again, just who we're currently using.
Yes, we are currently using them.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Okay, on to superintendent comments.
Okay, thank you. A couple things I wanted to report out on. So this week we had our new teacher orientation, ESA orientation. And so we had 26 new certificated people, which is close to 1/4 of our staff. So it's fun to get new people in all over, some right out of college, some have been teaching for over 30 years. Have to go get community like Eatonville, and so all sorts of reasons why they came here and wanted to work. We had kind of had 2 sessions in the mornings. This is when we're trying to do all the training for the brand new people, trying to get up to speed on a lot of things. So in the morning, we spent time talking about payroll and benefits, county, HR, Skyward, our data system, and safe schools. And then in the afternoon, we kind of got into teaching and learning technologies. Getting them all on board, checking out information. So that was on Monday. That was a full day for them. They hung in there and they did a great job. Wanted to talk a little bit about hiring for this year. And we're starting to remember some of our conversations in the past, maybe more to it. But one of the things that we're doing is getting back to the returning additional staff, especially in classified that had been cut over the last 4 or 5 years. And so we're kind of getting back to pre-COVID staffing numbers. So that's exciting because a lot of times, if not all the time, those are people that are working one-on-one with kids or in small groups. And that's what we say is we get to want to get as many adults in front of kids as possible to help them through the learning process. As Krista mentioned, we're working on possibly some additional sort of teachers here as our A3 numbers are starting to rise a little bit. And so one of the strategies that we're thinking of putting together, and we're having the secretaries give us counts every day. So when a new family or student comes in and registers, as soon as they're done with that, they send the numbers over to Kristen, and we kind of keep an eye on them. So Sally, Keely, Kristen, and myself, when they're always watching that. What we don't want to do is hire prematurely and have overstaffed. Something we're hard on trying to get through folks that we're at right now. But there are some things that we can do in case these students actually show up and our numbers are at a point where the classrooms are too big, so we have to bring people in. Instead of waiting at that point, post the position and interview and hire somebody, what we probably do is post some positions, elementary K through 2 is kind of the great levels that we're finding that we're starting to see an increase. And list them as potential positions. So what we can do is we can post them, and then we can screen people, then we can interview them. And then once school starts, we kind of get the whites of the eyes of all the students. We have an actual head count. If our numbers are where it is that we need to hire an additional staff member, we're ready to hire that person right then. We have to wait additional. So that's a strategy that we can use to get that ready. We can get that going probably sooner than later. Probably this week we'll get that started. Let's see. We talked a little bit about Harmony. Upcoming events, we have Secretary's Day, which is April 25th, and this is where they do their training. All the secretaries get their training updates, especially from Skyward. There's always updates on Skyward. So the secretaries are the frontline folks that we have to make sure understand everything that's out there with our student data and student services. So that will happen on the 25th. And then on the 29th, we've invited, or I'm sorry, Rhonda, I'm ignoring you. I keep on forgetting you're up on the screen there. On the 29th, we have our welcome back. We'd like for folks to show up at the time of your schedules, we'll introduce you, give some words of wisdom and get us encouraged there. There's breakfast, there's awards, and then the majority of the day, we're doing our social emotional learning training. We're taking trauma. So every 2 years, the state requires us to use the training in those sessions. So this year, we're going to get almost close to 6 hours in on Monday. And then there's still 2 more hours that we'll have to have people pick up somewhere scattered throughout the year, so we can get a bulk of it done early, which means they should have some skill sets to use before the school year can start. Helpful, pleasant ways that we can assess how well the training went, those questions, and those things that start to occur. So that's kind of where we've been just in this past week, things that are going on. So that's my report.
Next is board comments. Ready? Anything?
I will make a comment.
Okay.
First of all, I can't see who is there. I've seen many people come in, but I wanted to thank all of those who have taken the time out of their schedule to come and participate in the process and be involved, parents and staff and community. I'm very grateful. I want to thank Coach Kralik for all that he's done for our students and the hard work that he's put forward, and welcome Coach Rex Norris. And I'm so grateful for the skill set that he brings into our community. I'd like to welcome all of our new staff, 26 new teachers. That's phenomenal. And we're very grateful that they are in our community, and we hope that we can help them feel welcomed. I think I'm speaking on behalf of all the board that we care deeply about all of our students. We care very deeply about our staff and our community and the viability of our district. And we'd never do anything to harm any of those. We are really trying to be good stewards in all ways and all things. And I'm very grateful for the men and women that I serve with on the board. And with that being said, I just wanted to put back on the radar and on the record that Amanda, you are supposed to be looking for a date in September, end of September, beginning of October, that will not conflict with athletic events, so we can have our town hall meeting, so that we can have the opportunity for district staff and board and community to get together and have some dinner and have some conversation.
It is in the works.
Thank you, Amanda.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Gary, you want to
Yeah, I apologize. But one more thing I wanted to add, and several people that are sitting here have brought this up. I just wanted to make sure that you guys heard this throughout the past year. We talked about security and some different things. We have posted a district security position that's just been posted. And we're going to be interviewing some of those positions or some people for that position. And they'd probably be housed at the high school. Get district-wide security person that we can use to help us out with some of the security on to give us a little more presence in the hallways. I want to make sure that I added that. So that's been a concern for addressing.
Thank you. Yeah. So, okay, any other board comments? I would just like to say, I'm sorry some of you think that we aren't here for kids. I think that, if our statement that we made, our bios don't reflect that, I think that our actions do really, I think I appreciate everyone here at this table and on the, I appreciate everything that we do. I know we work hard. I really want to say thank you to all of those of you who support us, who encourage us and give us information that helps us to grow, helps us to do our job better. We just, right now, we're going to adjourn to an executive session where we're going to discuss public employee performance, and it will be about 30 minutes. And then we're going to come back and we're going to work on board goals a little while before we close the regular meeting out. So that's, if you want to hang around, it's about 30 minutes. If you want to leave or completely engage, that you will. We will adjourn right now and be back in about 30 minutes. you print mine out or not?
I did. So I have both Rhonda's and yours 5 goals sent to me, and they're posted here on the board, kind of categorized in sections that look kind of identical. And now all board members have been given sticky notes to identify which 4 goals they would like to select.
Okay. I sent those.
Rhonda, you had both Paulette's and your goals as
Yes.
well,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes,
thank
I have. Thank you.
She does.
But what I cannot see is how you grouped them.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe of course, I don't have my phone to take a picture or anything to forward
I
it
have
to you.
mine.
Can I take one with yours, Paulette, and then just so Rhonda can see how we group them? I didn't have a lot of board space in this room to deal with what we got. Thank you so much. I'm gonna send those to you here momentarily, Rhonda.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Paulette, if you could send those to her. Rhonda, you're gonna have to do the, making them large in your picture there.
Okay.
Zoom will be necessary.
Okay,
I sure did. Thank you, Gary.
I don't know what I'll send them. I can text them to you.
Yep, perfect. That would
Okay.
be fantastic.
I can get them to you anytime.
Did not bring my phone.
Right, I sent them.
Okay. Let's see how long it takes to get them all the way across the nation. There they are.
There they showed up.
They did. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so what is the go forward? Do we,
It was my understanding that you all would have sticky notes. You'd be able to look and review the goals posted, and then sticky note which ones you thought spoke the most to you or that you thought would be the most prevalent for our discussion. And then we would take those top 5 or whatever you decided on the number, move them to the other board. And then I didn't know if you had to vote for approval or how you all discussed that those would then be your district goals. Okay. New process for me, so you teach me, Paulette.
well, been a while. Okay,
So I
so,
asked a clarifying question.
sure.
So there was some, there's just simple terminology that's been going back and forth, so I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. Are district goals the same as board goals?
Not necessarily.
Because I see some people talking about district goals, and I thought we were doing board goals, so are we talking about 2 different things here?
Rhonda, what do you think?
Well, I think the goal here are to create our overarching goals for the district, Gary, so that you can move forward and work with your leadership team. And then so once we have our overarching goals for the district, then we will create our superintendent goals. Our board goals will be separate. Those are the things that we discussed at our work study that we individually want to, as a board, improve on, but not necessarily the district. So what we're trying to accomplish tonight is what direction are we headed as a district, so that then now we can have alignment with our superintendent, principals, teachers, staff, etc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. And so the kind of the picture I'll try to give you is if the board sets goals at 30,000 feet, now when I get ready to set my goals, it's going to drop down a little bit. I'll refine those a little bit, but I'm taking those, refining those, and then it'll go to our building principals, same sort of thing. They'll refine it even more. So it goes from macro to micro. And then they can fine tune it. They can put in, here's how we're going to assess this. Here's the dates we have. And they're fine tuning all those sorts of things. That way we all have the same oars in at the same time. And we're not going mile wide, because if each building did 5 goals, there's 25 there. another 5 from you, another one from me, and we're up to 35 goals. We're not gonna move the bar. But if we go that macro down to micro, that's perfect.
And I think that basically, I know with the ones the draft I did, mine was taking them off of our last goals, which came off of our strategic plan. And that's what I was discussing.
I also addressed the strategic plan when drafting mine as well. So I think that's why you can see that we have some really commonalities in our
Yes.
groupings there.
Mission essential task list for the military.
Yep.
It looks to me like, Paulette, I don't know how many goals you had landed on, but it looks more like wordsmithing, because if they're grouped together already, it looks like wordsmithing rather than a lot of elimination.
Yeah, because I don't think that, like I say, ours were very, very similar. There were just some wording differences that occurred between what I did. And so we could just maybe wordsmith, bring them down to, like I said, I used the strategic plan and our previous goals to come up, and you had 5, we had talked about potentially 5. And if those are doable, the 5 that we have. And, most of them we're already doing.
That's a perfect example. I'm looking at yours, Paulette, the 5 goals that you have there. I can take those and then start knocking it down. And then the principals will look at my goals and they'll get even finer. So by the time we get to best practices with measurable results for academic excellence, they're going to be real specific. And then we go from there. So that's with all 5 of those.
And just for you, those of you in the audience, the goals that Rhonda and I had done, not together, we had done them separately. Rhonda's right here. Okay, so what I had was academic excellence, goal 1. The order isn't necessarily important. It's, they're all different, but, and the goal 2 was supportive learning environment. Goal 3 was partnership. Goal 4 communication, and goal 5 physical responsibility. And those were the ones. And Rhonda had goal 1 measurable student achievement, goal 2 community parental engagement, goal 3 physical management responsibility, goal 4 highly qualified staff, and goal 5 safe, secure, supportive learning environment. So these are the kinds of things we're talking about, and I think we can meld these into 5, come up with what we want to do. So like I say, I think it's come down to a matter of wordsmithing and getting them, we want to be aware that they are district goals, and putting the feet to them is up to the superintendent and staff. With the action pieces to those.
Exactly. Yep.
So what's our process here?
I don't really know, because they're so similar, it's hard to tell. Can't really eliminate any.
They're all listed there. I certainly can bring them down closer to you. And then if you wanted to, you could select, I guess, the ones that you spoke to you more, or highlight the pieces you want. Like you said, wordsmith.
Yeah, wordsmith them, because like I say, hers and mine are almost, the same. They're just wording differences. Change the whole.
I got a question.
And Matt, would it be helpful?
Yes, you may ask a question.
Down, or
I got it.
Are you trying to prioritize these?
No, these are not in priority.
Okay.
These are just the goals. There's 5 goals.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Is this narrowing down this?
Yes.
Okay, so
Because,
are you gonna?
because the goal setting is just basically the left side of that.
Okay,
And the rest goes into the actions.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, so right now, both of you have the same first goal, essentially. Measurable student achievement and academic excellence is essentially the same. Supportive learning environment lines up with Rhonda's highly qualified staff and safe, secure, supported learning environment. Paulette, your number 3 lines up with Rhonda's partnership, right? lines up with, where to go, community and parental engagement, or goal 2. Communication lines up with community and parental engagement as well. And then fiscal responsibility is 3 on both of them. So I think there's a lot of overlap here, and we can just kind of go over language one at a time.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do is create a copy on this.
Rhonda's-
Gonna make copies.
Yeah, would you please, this would help us a lot if we can copy it. Scribble on. I know Rhonda's got both of ours there, so with her. Yeah, I think that I was pleased that Rhonda and I wasn't surprised, I was pleased that ours came out so, you know,
Well, it's easy when you're working off the same strategic plan.
exactly. And that's right
That's
there,
the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that way.
is to work off of that basis that was been given. For those of you, I don't know if you're familiar with our strategic plans. This is what we put together how long ago? Rhonda, when did we do the strategic plan?
But COVID has made kind of a weird, I think it's been probably 5 or 6 years
I would
now.
say
Yeah.
5 or 6 years.
When I
Yeah.
got here, because I came to a board meeting and asked you guys questions, and you just spent hours and hours working on
We
it.
spent a lot of
So I
time
got here
on
in
it,
2004.
we really did. And, but it's still very effective. It's a very effective tool and helps us to be able to get the direction. We're not making this up. Right, yeah, we're gonna get copies so we can start wordsmithing these.
I also sent my copies to everyone, so you might be able to pull it up on your email if you need it.
Yeah.
Like,
I was thinking paper copies, so we could write on them.
yeah, for sure, that would be more helpful, but if you want to look at it,
Yeah.
or grab them off the board, just grab them off the board and put them on the table. That works too.
Yeah. I guess those. Do some wordsmithing. I think that's what I want. Not with that.
Paula, can you just tell me which one we're going to start with so I can start
With one,
Academic excellence.
we're both there with academic excellence.
academic excellence? Okay,
Start with the first one.
okay.
And if any of you want to see them up there on the board, please feel free to go take a look at them. I would ask that you not take pictures, please.
Okay.
These are just drafts.
Okay.
So I
It
don't
was for the grouping,
want anything.
But- but Matt did a good job of kind of speaking the arrows.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
shoes. I've got to come grab tech guys.
Hold on, start that way.
You want me to pull these down? I can lay those right in front
No,
of
it's
you.
okay, we have lunch.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where that's at.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Let's try that.
So, yeah, so, I know that we all have them on our phone, on this.
The difference is,
Huh?
the only difference is hers is.
I think we're-
Do you need me to re-email it? Would
No.
that be easier?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all got it.
Okay, all right.
They went to make copies so we could.
Taking a look at it, they both cover the exact same social, emotional. They both cover, comprehensive education and curriculum, aligning standards, using measures. I really like both of them, what they're covering. I know from the superintendent executing side, is there a phrasing that works better as far as give you the direction you need, focused enough without over directing?
Great point, because that's the crux of the whole thing, and so the more general, the better. Got it.
Really liking the generic side of all eds, but I would like to add in both co-curricular and extracurricular, just so that's spelled out. Because I think other than that, we're covered in both of them. Because the opportunities enable each student to achieve success now and in their future, same as career job choices and life choices. Then the last sentence on Rhonda is to provide needed support for staff, enthusiastic, confident, offer designated approaches to instruction. I think we'll be able to add that later in supportive learning environment.
Right, and I specifically added that because of the UDL focus that we've had in the district. So that's already work that's being done. So just as a side note, our teachers have been focused on differentiated learning. And I think they're really moving forward on that, so.
So can we be in agreement on the first one if we use the language that I had and add co-curricular and extracurricular?
Well, I guess the next steps, are we trying to come up with the exact phrasing now or just general goals and then we can nail these out after we have some drafts? Or are we trying to get final language right now?
I don't know that we can accomplish.
Okay,
Okay.
that's why I'm clarifying now before we get to the weeds on this.
Yeah, no, I think if we can just generally bring it down to 5.
Okay.
I mean, like I say, Rhonda's and mine are so close.
Yeah.
I think we can easily.
So I would say, let's just say our first one is just academic excellence, but we're going to be merging.
The only thing that I would like to add to goal number 1 that Paulette has is multiple measures instead of, I'd like there specifically to say that we are going to look at multiple measures of success. Multiple measures of success.
Yeah, good.
But we're all in agreement, we can essentially merge both of your goal ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
We'll just phrase it academic excellence for now. Okay.
Okay.
Go.
Perfect. I think we all have fiscal, we both have fiscal responsibility. We don't take them in order.
Yeah, so fiscal responsibility, again, let's merge those.
Yeah,
That'll-
those
that's cool.
are easiest.
partnership is another one that should be relatively easy to merge between the community parental engagement as well as with the staff. So like we've talked about in the meeting earlier, getting parents, teachers, community administrators, everybody, working together in partnership is going to be the best for everybody involved.
We just add language.
Yeah, there is a right here.
Good for Chicago.
Yeah, so community parental engagement and communication, it can be merged as well.
But I think it's really important that we have, and I think combining them is fine, but I think it's really important that we call out parental engagement and community engagement specifically in the title of our goal, so that we can keep that as a focus.
Yes.
I think that by using the term engagement, the communication is part of that.
Yes,
Like, can't engage them without communicating with them.
absolutely.
So I think that phrasing is fine, but just make sure that both of these goals
Go under communication. Yes.
are kind of merged, blended to make sure that we have everything that we want to cover.
So we merge communication with parental community engagement.
We'll leave the language community parental engagement, or can we community parental and staff engagement? Just to
Community
put it
parental.
all together.
Yeah, I like that.
Then we can also add sections.
Well, and then, like you say, we have to keep it general. So that we can put the feet
Very general communication.
to it. Communication for this.
Yeah, supportive learning environments are almost identical, but I do like the addition of safe with it. So safe and secure, supportive learning environment seems to kind of be all encompassing just in that title of what's required for a supportive learning environment. So I think we merge those 2 and 5.
Yes.
Well, and I think we need to, as we merge those, the one thing that I really think is important, let me get there. Safe, secure learning environment. I think we need to support and sustain excellent facility maintenance efforts and carry out safety emergency management audits. That needs to be added so that we're as part of the safe portion.
Yes, it was nice to hear that we have some headway already being made there.
Yeah, it's great. And I think we need to continue that.
Say that again.
So the sentence that says support and sustain excellent facility maintenance efforts and carry out safety and emergency management audits in all buildings throughout the district, I think that needs to be called out. If we're going to title the safe, secure, supportive learning environment, that needs to be.
Yeah, learning environment. And have action. Yeah.
Mhm.
So how, Matt, how do you see merging communication with that?
Communication.
I think we merge communication with partnership and community parental.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
We merged goal number 4 from Paulette for communication with her partnership and merged it with your community and parental engagement.
But don't you,
Without community, no communication.
I feel like partnerships and communication are separate.
Yeah,
My
so I'm
opinion.
partnerships thinking it goes more into like the qualified staff, the way we're talking about engaging the community and finding and retaining people inside of our district. Where is it?
So I think, so right now, the way we have these grouped, they're grouped into 4, but I think, you know, let me, I got to get back to that. Sorry, Paulette's text with the pictures. Our strategic plan has 5 overarching goals as it sits now, and I think it would be appropriate to take communication out, keep the community and parental engagement and partnerships, Paulette's 3 and my 2, and then let's take communication, goal number 4 of Paulette's, and let's keep that separate, because I feel like there's more than parental engagement to communication. There is definitely it's a goal that we will never fully reach, and I think we need to always keep it separate and focused. So that keeps us at 5 goals as well, where we already are.
So would we take your goal for highly qualified staff and put that into the engagement side, or we put that in the academic excellence?
Well, right now we have 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see. We do have.
Which I think we can kind of split that into both academic excellence
I think you're right.
and into the community parental staff engagement piece.
Yeah. Yes, I think you could split that.
And then we keep communication separate as its fifth, as the 5th one.
Yes, we can merge, yeah, her goal 4 with, yeah.
Into these. I would pare them down so they're nice and generic and
Right,
read easy.
tear down the wording of them. Of both of them. Make them both really well. I think that, on the communication piece, piece that you have wrong on fiscal management responsibility, the last sentence, I think we could actually put that more in with our communication.
Yeah,
You know, that last sentence you had,
Okay, on which one? On goal number
3,
3.
that last sentence, I think we could put that under communication.
With our local legislators? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that would be good.
that's 2. So that was 2. Also engage in community, understanding budgeting process should be part of our
Yes.
communication,
As part of our communication.
as well as our collaboration with the legislators.
I think we're close. You know, what I'd like to do now is take this and, Rhonda, maybe you and I could work on this
Sure.
and come up with our, you know, the merging part that we've done and, you know, some of the language, and then we'll bring it back and finish it. I think that's a good idea. Okay? So I think we've at least figured out what pieces are gonna be which tonight. That was kind of the main purpose, you know.
And then I guess the question I have to ask to Matt, Corey, and Ashley, is there something missing, something that you feel is important for us to have on there that's missing that you didn't see?
So no, my big 3 were fiscal responsibility piece, measurable student success and achievement, so we have some sort of a metric to base our decisions on.
Exactly.
And communication, because that's where I feel like we've lacked the most. So
Okay. Corey, how about you?
Mine were the same, except for the communication was more of a community engagement.
Okay.
So financial responsibility, community engagement, and the student success with measurables.
Great. Ashley?
I agree with that. I think it's those three, my top.
All right. So let's do, Rhonda, let's do a rewrite and bring them down to the 5 and we'll get that out to everybody.
Okay, and it's going to be really essential that we get this done ASAP because we need to get our superintendent goals to Gary right away. So,
We will.
yep. So everybody be ready to do fast wordsmithing and get back on the same page. So,
Sounds good.
So are you guys gonna do board goals?
Yes, we will, but not tonight. We aren't gonna be able to.
Wasn't our last meeting.
Huh?
Wasn't our last meeting.
Well, we didn't really, in fact, I don't count the notes.
Yes. We had to choose out of our pool.
Right.
Yeah, we just have to choose out of the ones that,
That should be happening at the same time, so that
Okay.
he can merge. What we do,
right,
is it's a blend of both.
right. So we can do that. We can take the notes that we have from Sandy.
I can try to consolidate some of those.
Would you please?
Sandy ever did those, she sent those out, she said she did.
Yeah, we got minutes.
Yeah, it was kind of like minutes that she sent to us. You just kind of bulleted some things.
and I really took that work as work that we need to do as a board team, not necessarily district focused. So I think the work that is vital is what we need to move the district forward. So our individual board goals we can work on, we have a little bit more time, but these district goals are really important so that we can get everybody headed in the right direction.
And we'll definitely get going on 4 goals.
Right.
Gotta get these, get these going. So
Perfect.
I think we got our direction on that. And we will just move forward. I'll get together with you and we'll have to do it remotely while you're still out of town, but we'll do it.
I'm coming in Thursday night, so Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
When you guys finish your 5 goals and then they go to Gary as superintendent for his goals, does an action plan or something get put out to show how we're trying to implement this?
He and the staff with that.
Okay, and then that goes to the community where we're gonna have, Figure out what
They're
it is.
all listed on the website.
Yeah, they'll all be listed.
Like
Yeah.
tiered down.
It's like ones we had before. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll all be listed.
wonderful, thank you.
Okay, all right, that's it for tonight then. Anything else? All right, very nothing, we'll adjourn the meeting at 8:55. All right. Thank you folks for hanging in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,